to my way of thinking, was how you should be doing a table saw tune-up. It gives a very accurate way of doing it, very precise, so that you don't need to do test cuts for your angles and whatnot. And that is tablesawalignment.com, real easy to remember, and he's very good, very detailed. Like you see here, I've got like 7 pages just for the alignment on the saw blade. I will make copies of these and have a full copy available in the library for anybody who wants it. And I guess we'll get started. The blade alignment, trunnion alignment, and the blade tilt are all interconnected. A lot of people think just because they set the 90 degree on their blade, they're all set, and when they go to 45, they find they're not cutting properly. They're either burning their cuts, or they're when they're running the wood through the saw, it's either getting pulled away or pushed against the fence. Thank you. Nerves. So, to start with, what we do is for a table saw or for the blade alignment for perpendicular, you have to start here before you do any of the other adjustments. You mark your blade on one tooth, or beside one tooth, and you don't want to actually set your little gauge on the tooth itself. You want to be on the blade. It's more accurate that way. And this is actually set up for my table saw, so it's a little, about 1/4 inch short. You get this, bring it over here, put it on your mark, and then pull your blade back. And almost slide it through till you get to your other mark, and once your gauge is reading 0 at both points, actually let me back up. When you're at the forward point, put your gauge over and then 0 it out. That's what I forgot. 0 out your gauge, and then when you bring it back, the difference in the two readings will tell you how far out your blade is out of alignment going this way. And to adjust it on a table saw like mine, where the trunnions are attached to the sides of the cabinet, you loosen up 3 of the 4 bolts. You don't want to loosen all of them. You loosen 3 bolts, and then you make your slight adjustment. And you can use a hammer and a piece of wood, which is, I think, what most people use to make their little adjustment, and you just keep doing that until you get your 0. And the hard part comes. Hoping I can show this on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a line, and if it comes out correctly, when I do the 45, this will be off by quite a bit. And because I set this trunnion off purposely, and it's probably not going to, oh yeah, it actually worked like it was supposed to. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera or not, but this point is actually closer than this point, which means that the blade, when it tilted, it didn't just tilt this way, it tilted out. And that's when you know your trunnion is going to have to be adjusted. That's the fun one. Let's see, the trunnions that attach to your tabletops, those are easier to do because there's 4 bolts, 2 in the front and 2 in the back. You just loosen them up and put a washer or a spacer in. Do we have some of the pictures yet?
Yep.
Okay, let's flip through a couple.
2 seconds.
I'm always good at getting ahead of myself. Okay, this is a table saw junior aligner or something like that. TS Junior. That's for making your measurements extremely accurately. However, I've got a dial gauge, which is considered second best, and third best would be the plastic angle gauges that they tell you about.
Keep going.
Flip through, yeah. Okay, and that's on the tilt. One thing about the Wixie gauge, which I didn't realize until I read the article, is that they're operated on a small level that'll move back and forth. Can't remember what it's called. Anyway, so when you're using your Wixie gauge, you actually have to align it. The best way to use it is to align it with your blade using your square, and then when you put it on the blade, you actually want to still keep it square to the center so that your reading is accurate. That was one I didn't realize until I read it.
Your floor's not level, then it wouldn't be level. So
There's a
your
zero. It doesn't matter on this because there's a zero out feature.
You zero it to your tabletop.
Yeah, you zero it to your tabletop.
Right.
So your tabletop can be sitting like this.
Right.
And if you zero it,
then
you're okay.
Right.
Let's see, let's look ahead a couple.
Okay. One more.
Yeah, that's still the. Now there's what I was talking about with the square.
Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on gravity. I knew there was something. Okay, and we're still.
Right here.
We'll still look like the same pictures. Oh, 45. The 45-degree tilt to check that's a table saw aligner, a TS aligner. I think that's a fancier one. It'll actually have 2 pins on it. One of them has 2 pins where when it sets against the blade on a 45, it will hit at the bottom and at the top, and then you have to do a little bit of arithmetic to figure out what your angle is, depending on what the difference is.
And that's to tell the angle your blade's setting, or is that for the alignment of your blade while you're?
That would be the angle of the blade.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing, when you're setting your 90, when you kick it over to 45, if you find that the measurements are off, there's a couple of things. The paperwork will give you a little equation so you can figure out the size of shims you're going to need, so you can get it pretty close. Mine, I've still got to do a couple of thousandths shim on it, but it does get you very close. And when you adjust it to 90, okay, and then you move it to 45 and it's off, you're going to make your adjustment to your blade, and then you're going, or to your trunnion, excuse me. You'll adjust your trunnion, and then you have to do this again bring it back to 90, reset everything, and then check your 45 again, and you have to keep going back and forth until you finally get them all correct. And then that's it on that part. Let me check some. Oh, the trunnion adjustment, I'm sorry. On the one, I can't remember what the different saws are. One's cabinet and one's contractors. Okay, one's attached, the trunnion's attached to the top of the table, and that's where you loosen the bolts on the outside, and you can put your shims in that way. On mine, the trunnion is inside the table, completely inside the tabletop, and, oh, excuse me, the first table saw is attached to sides?
I got a picture of the cabinet saw up there before you bring, if that helps you.
Okay, yeah, okay, those you just, shim the bolts, and I believe if you flip the next picture, it shows the trunnion setup. Yeah. And that's what my table saw looks like. And, this is one where, I'll admit it's probably easier just to take the saw apart and flip it over. If you have to adjust the trunnion on this, I tried doing it, I did it without flipping it, but it wasn't fun. I took 3 washers in the front where you couldn't see what you were doing, and I put a washer and a couple shims in the back. It only took 45 minutes, or, well, no, I'll take that back. It took like an hour and 45 minutes to get them put in.